Hopefully that made sense. Didn't make sense when I was talking, but in my head. I was like, I think there's a theme. I know. Part of my testimony when I think of who Jesus is and who God is in my life, the main character is always faithfulness. He is the Alpha, the Omega. He is the God who was and is and will forever be. And so growing up, I think a lot of my wrestling with identity and character, depending on the Lord, relying on the Lord, growing up in a family, growing up, going to school, developing relationships, was always this tension of trying to find myself or having other people speak over me, what they think and who they think I was. And I really just was trying to fight for that, find that, hold on to who I thought I was. And the Lord actually just kind of through his grace and time really showed me that my identity is in him. And actually there's a freedom in not having to try to hold on to my identity or fight for it, because it's Jesus is my identity. And there's actually a freedom, it isn't actually called to I'm not called to fight for my identity. I'm actually called to lay it down. And so the way that he kind of showed me that and kind of taught me that and revealed that to me was just through a lot of just judgment from others that I had received, a lot of teasing growing up, and just a lot of feeling insecure about where I was. And the verse that kind of has been kind of my anchoring point is Romans 14:8, which says, if we live, we belong to the Lord. And if we die, we belong to the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. And what that did was it just brought so much freedom and also confidence that it doesn't matter what I do, who I am, where I'm at, that I'm actually his, that he's going to be the caretaker, that he is the provider, that he's the overseer, the protector, the father, that he's actually responsible for me. I don't, yes, we are obedient and we have ownership of our lives. But in my surrender to him, I actually release my responsibility to him. And so that what that really built and stirred in me was a trust, that I can actually trust him. All right, you know what's up. You're calling the shots, so to say. Yes, we have father-son relationship where I have, I get to ask and I get to have the freedom to explore a field, right? We talk about slaves versus friends. That Jesus talks about in the Gospels, that he no longer calls us slaves. And a slave is always going from task to task, what do I do next? Whereas a son has the freedom to run, has a freedom to explore, has a freedom to delight in the Lord. And so it's kind of it actually takes more faith to be a son. And so in my testimony and through kind of growing up and just growing with the Lord, has been this theme of the Lord's faithfulness. He's constant. He is the provider. And so I think towards high school, growing up, I began to have dreams, both of torment and just of probably calling that I didn't necessarily have language for. That really scared me. And I had to really rely on the Lord. One, to free me in those dreams where I would be choked or I wouldn't be able to speak or breathe. Some people call them night terrors, some call them sleep paralysis. But I would wake up with my body feeling bruised, or the things that happened in my dreams, I would feel the circumstance or the weight of that in person. But it was this relying dependence on the Lord. I knew if I called out to his name that he would relieve me, that he would rescue me. And what that did was just throughout, it built a foundation of relying and trusting on the Lord. So whether through my parents going through a separation or through family members going through sickness and things like that, where I would come to this place where wow, Lord, I actually trust you. I've given my life to you, which means you are responsible, but I'm gonna align everything that you've given me responsibility of, whether that's family, finances, friendships, spheres of influence. I'm gonna align that towards you in worship and praise, but I'm gonna actually trust you to navigate that, or to show me where to navigate those things. And so it's really this posture of worship. It's this posture of Revelation 4, of sitting before the throne and worshiping the Lord with all of my heart, mind, soul, strength, right? And then loving my neighbor, loving my brother, while we like all focus on the Lord and lift him up. And so it's been a testimony of just like worshiping the Lord, and through that, it's not trying to ignore circumstance. It's not trying to like escape from where I am, but it's a reorienting and like a refocusing of my gaze towards the Lord. And it's mean like, even when I'm in this circumstance, even when my family's going through this, even when I'm seeing this, I'm gonna humble myself and like I'm gonna set it down and just to like say and see you, to like praise you and worship you. And like, yes, those things will come back, but I'm gonna actually like lay those things down just to like focus and gaze on the beauty of the Lord. And just the inheritance, like he is our inheritance, like our Father, like Jesus, Holy Spirit, like they are our inheritance. And so it's like even like laying down the circumstance or laying down the time to just focus in worship.